Stop buying sugar. Stop trusting the pink packets. And definitely stop believing that sweetness has to come with a price tag attached to your waistline or your wallet. Because right now, growing in a pot that you could keep on your kitchen windowsill, there is a leaf that is 300 times sweeter than sugar. It has 0 calories, 0 glycemic impact, and it has been used safely for over 1,500 years. But when this plant started to threaten the profits of the sugar industry in the 1980s, something strange happened. The FDA didn't approve it. They banned it. They called it unsafe. They raided warehouses. They confiscated shipments. And they made sure that for nearly 2 decades, you couldn't get your hands on the real thing. This wasn't about safety. This was about control. Because a plant that you can grow for free in your backyard that produces sweetness without the insulin spike, without the calories, without the addiction, that plant is a direct threat to a $100 billion industry. But here is the thing. They lost. The plant survived. And today, I am going to show you exactly how to grow it, how to use it, and why the dried leaf you grow yourself is infinitely superior to the white powder they sell you in the store. This is the story of Stevia, the leaf they tried to erase. Welcome to Soil and Secrets. Let's start with a simple question. What is sugar really costing you? I am not talking about the $5 you pay for a bag at the grocery store. I am talking about the biological cost. Every time you consume sugar, your body goes into chaos. Your blood glucose spikes. Your pancreas dumps insulin into your bloodstream. Your liver starts converting the excess into fat. And your brain gets a hit of dopamine so powerful that scientists compare it to cocaine. You crave more. You eat more, and the cycle never stops. The average American consumes 77 pounds of sugar per year. That is the weight of a 10-year-old child in pure refined sweetness pumped into your system annually. And what do you get in return? Obesity, diabetes, fatty liver disease, tooth decay, chronic inflammation, and an addiction so normalized that we put it in our coffee every morning without thinking twice. Now imagine a different world. Imagine a sweetness that doesn't spike your blood sugar. A sweetness that doesn't feed the fat cells. A sweetness that actually has medicinal properties, lowering blood pressure and fighting inflammation instead of causing it. You don't have to imagine it. It exists. It has existed for over 1,000 years. And the indigenous Guarani people of Paraguay have been using it since before Europeans even knew the Americas existed. They called it ka'ahi'e, the sweet herb. They chewed the leaves to sweeten their bitter mate tea. They used it as medicine. They knew that this plant was a gift. And when Spanish colonizers arrived in the 1500s, they were stunned. Here was a people with access to profound sweetness, yet they had none of the tooth decay or health problems associated with sugarcane. The plant didn't just sweeten, it healed. But for centuries, the secret stayed locked in South America. It wasn't until 1905 that a Swiss botanist named Moisés Santiago Bertoni stumbled upon it and brought samples back to the Western world. Scientists were baffled. They isolated the sweet compounds in the leaf, molecules called stevial glycosides, and they ran the tests. The results were undeniable. Stevia was not just sweet, it was 300 times sweeter than table sugar, gram for gram. And it had 0 calories, 0 carbohydrates, 0 impact on blood glucose. It was a biochemical miracle. This should have been the end of sugar. This should have been front-page news. A plant that gives you sweetness without the consequences. But that is exactly why it had to be stopped. Think about it. If every household in America grew a stevia plant on their windowsill and stopped buying sugar, what happens? The sugar industry collapses. the artificial sweetener companies, the ones selling you aspartame and sucralose, they lose billions. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, every processed food manufacturer that relies on cheap sugar to hook your taste buds, they all take a hit. So they did what monopolies always do when threatened. They went to war. And in 1991, the FDA made their move. They declared stevia unsafe for human consumption. They didn't present evidence of harm. They didn't show studies proving danger. They simply declared it and banned its import as a sweetener. Stevia could only be sold as a dietary supplement, hidden away in health food stores, kept out of the mainstream. Meanwhile, aspartame, a chemical sweetener linked to headaches, dizziness, and neurological concerns, stayed legal. Sucralose, a chlorinated sugar molecule that didn't exist in nature until a lab created it, stayed on the shelves. The hypocrisy was glaring, but it worked. For nearly 20 years, stevia was suppressed in the United States while the rest of the world, Japan, Brazil, China, used it freely and safely. But here is the beautiful irony. They couldn't kill it. The plant was too resilient. The truth was too strong. By 2008, the pressure became too much. The science was overwhelming. Stevia was proven safe in study after study, and the corporations that once fought it realized they couldn't beat it. So they did what capitalism always does. They co-opted it. Coca-Cola and Pepsi bought the rights to produce stevia-based sweeteners. They started selling it in little white packets with green labels, branding it as natural and healthy. And the FDA suddenly reversed its position. Stevia was now safe. Just like that. No explanation. No apology. But here is the trap they set for you. The stevia they sell in stores is not the plant. It is a highly processed extract. They take the whole leaf, strip it down, isolate the sweetest glycosides, bleach it, refine it, and turn it into a white powder that looks like sugar. They remove the fiber. They remove the minerals. They remove the other beneficial compounds that balance the sweetness. What you are left with is a concentrated chemical shadow of the original plant. And worse, most commercial stevia products are cut with fillers like maltodextrin or erythritol, bulking agents that actually do raise your blood sugar. They took a miracle and turned it into just another product. But you don't have to play their game. Because the real stevia, the whole leaf, the plant that the Guarani used for centuries, that plant is still here, and you can grow it in your home right now. Let's talk about the plant itself. Stevia rebaudiana is a small perennial herb in the sunflower family. It is native to subtropical regions, but it adapts beautifully to container growing. In warm climates, zones 9 through 11, you can plant it in the ground and it will grow into a bushy shrub about 2 feet tall. In colder zones, grow it in a pot and bring it indoors before the first frost. It will survive the winter on a sunny windowsill. The leaves are the treasure. Small, serrated, and green. And when you dry them and crumble them into powder, you have pure sweetness. No processing, no chemicals, no corporate middleman. Just you and the plant. To grow stevia, you don't need a degree in botany. You need sun, decent soil, and patience. Stevia loves full sun, at least 6 hours a day. It prefers slightly acidic soil, rich in organic matter. If you are growing in a pot, use a high-quality potting mix and make sure the container has drainage holes. Stevia hates wet feet. Overwatering will kill it faster than drought. Water it when the top inch of soil feels dry, but don't drown it. Feed it lightly with compost or a balanced organic fertilizer once a month during the growing season. And here is the trick most beginners miss. Stevia wants to flower. When it flowers, the leaves lose sweetness and turn bitter. Your job is to prevent this. Pinch off the flower buds as soon as you see them forming. This keeps the plant focused on producing sweet leaves instead of seeds. Every time you pinch, the plant branches out, becoming bushier and more productive. You are not harming it. You are training it to work for you. Now, let's talk harvest. This is where most people fail. They wait too long. They think bigger is better. Wrong. The sweetest leaves are the ones you pick just before the plant tries to flower. This is usually late summer or early fall. When you see the plant start to stretch upwards, preparing to bloom, that is your signal. Harvest time. Cut the stems about 4 inches from the ground, leaving enough for the plant to regrow. Strip the leaves off the stems. Lay them out on a screen or a clean towel in a warm, dry place out of direct sunlight. Let them dry completely. This takes about a week. You will know they are ready when they crumble easily between your fingers. Once dried, you can store them whole in an airtight jar, or you can grind them into powder using a coffee grinder or mortar and pestle. This powder is your homegrown sweetener. And here is the critical difference. When you use the whole dried leaf, you are getting the full spectrum of compounds. Not just the super sweet steviol glycosides, but also the fiber, the antioxidants, the minerals. This creates a more balanced, less intense sweetness. It doesn't have the bitter aftertaste that many people complain about with the white powder extracts. So how do you use it? You can steep the dried leaves in hot water to make a sweet tea. Use about 1 teaspoon of dried leaf per cup of water. But let's be honest, this plant isn't just about cutting calories or lowering your grocery bill. This is about sovereignty. Every time you grow your own stevia, every time you sweeten your coffee with a leaf you dried yourself, you are making a statement. You are saying no to the corporations that lied about this plant for decades. You are saying no to the processed garbage they try to sell you as health food. And you are saying yes to a system that worked for over 1,000 years before they tried to erase it. The Guarani people, we can break the sugar trap. We can grow our own rebellion, one windowsill at a time. Stevia or sugar? Which one wins in your kitchen? Tell me in the comments. This is Soil and Secrets. Knowledge is not lost. It is simply waiting for you to remember.